This is a follow-up video from a presentation that was made on November 8, 2024 by me, Lisa, and Gabby Kraft. This is my part of the presentation. The presentation focuses on Fostering Achievement Network, FAN. Again, as I mentioned, my name is Lisa Dickson. I serve in two roles. I am the Communications Chair for Action Ohio. Action Ohio stands for Alumni of Care Together Improving Outcomes Now. I'm also the co-facilitator of the Ohio YIB, the Overcoming Hurdles in Ohio Youth Advisory Board, which is a statewide youth advisory board for foster youth ages 14 to 24, including those who have been entrusted to adoption, kinship care, and congregate care placements, such as residential facilities and group homes. I absolutely love doing this presentation. In the picture, you'll see me wearing an OSU shirt. And that's because Action Ohio previously facilitated College for the Day events at The Ohio State University. Between 2015 and 2017, we facilitated 4 College for the Day events at OSU. Since then, other people have carried on that tradition, which we're grateful for. Each event included a higher education scavenger hunt, a residence hall tour, a student panel, and participating youth reporting out and sharing their goals for the future. One year, we even had the opportunity for visiting students to play sports at the RPAC. Once again, this presentation is for the Fostering Achievement Network, and the purpose of this presentation is to understand the unique challenges faced by former foster youth in higher education and to be able to identify resources and strategies to support their academic and personal success. Let's talk about foster care statistics. So this is foster care in Ohio, and Columbus currently has the second highest number of foster youth in the state. Typically, Columbus has always had the most, but they've been trying to reduce that for better or worse. These numbers are generally released at the end of the year. So as of this 2024 presentation, I'm sharing 2023 stats. In 2023, Cleveland had the highest number of youth in foster care, 3,333. Columbus had 2,764 youth in foster care, and Cincinnati, which typically ranks third in the state, had 2,665 youth in foster care. When children are in foster care, there is federal pressure to seek to reunify them, connect them with extended families, which they call kinship care, or, if parental custody is terminated, seek to connect them with an adoptive home. Some young people enter foster care as babies or children, then return to foster care as teens due to challenges at their biological home being unresolved. All right, let's talk about statistics for youth who age out of foster care. In 2023, Columbus was number 1, as it usually is with stats. They had 137 youth who aged out of care. Cleveland ranked second with 136, and Cincinnati had 107. Each of these young people matter, and so do their post-secondary outcomes. I also wanted to share statistics regarding kinship care as well. Kinship care refers to temporary or permanent living arrangement of youth with extended relatives or non-relatives with whom they have a close relationship. In 2023, Columbus had 276 youth in the custody of one or more relatives. Cleveland had 238 youth in relative custody, and as usual, Cincinnati ranked third with 158 youth in relative custody. It's also important when we think about youth who are in need of help and youth who lack family privilege that these numbers do not include youth who are reunified, even if it happened the night before their 18th birthday. They don't include those youth. And those youth, it sounds good to say they're reunified the night before their 18th birthday, but doing so also disallows them for access to so many resources, such as ETV. These numbers do not include youth who are in informal kinship care. If you're not in the particular kind of kinship care, it doesn't count on paper, but it certainly counts to you as a young person. These numbers also don't include youth who are adopted and the adoption disrupts, including when support from the adoptive parent ends when the young person turns 18. For young people who cease to receive support from their adoptive parents when they reach 18, they too are facing young adulthood alone and without family support. So when we talk about higher education statistics, depending on the research study, between 3% and 11% of former foster youth earn a bachelor's degree. These numbers would be a lot more precise if every college or university allowed former foster youth to self-identify and if they kept track of those numbers. There's some barriers to them doing that currently, so we have these very broad range of statistics. Let's talk about barriers to post-secondary preparation. We know that statistics don't come from a vacuum. Statistics are precipitated by systemic factors. Let's talk about those factors. Foster youth attend 5 high schools on average. 65% of us change schools mid-year, and with every transfer, we lose 4 to 6 months of academic progress. Also, only 15% of foster youth are enrolled in college preparatory courses during their time in high school. So these are additional factors that undermine post-secondary retention. We aren't quite ready for college. We don't have that family support. We don't know about resources or how to access them, or we might not be eligible, such as the young person who was reunified the night before their 18th birthday. We also face relationship issues, such as trying to rescue a biological family member, getting involved in an abusive relationship, trying to be a parent, a single parent on our own with also a lack of extended family support. And definitely, we experience housing challenges. At the root of all of this is family privilege. Family privilege plays a role in whether or not a young person has family support when it comes to their pursuit of higher education. We talk a lot about white privilege and other levels of privilege, but often fail to recognize family privilege. So here's the diagram. At the coin itself is protection from abuse, provision for your needs, and support during the transition for adulthood. If you have family privilege, you have that protection, provision, and support. And if you're at the top of that coin, you have advantages that others do not. And these advantages come with the assurance of being supported and safeguarded and provided for. If you're at the bottom of the coin, such as young people who experience abuse or neglect, you have disadvantages that others do not. You didn't do anything to deserve this deficit. However, these disadvantages include a lack of reassurance that you will be safeguarded and provided for. This means that the transition looks very different from a young adult when it comes to the transition to young adulthood for a young person growing up with their biological family versus those of us from foster care. So I love this diagram. I created it several years ago. I'm a former foster youth and I'm also a stepmom. And from the moment that I was entrusted with my stepdaughters, I sought to provide them with sequential developmental experiences. I wanted them to have a growing level of freedom. And I paired that with a growing level of responsibility. I wanted to be there to provide guidance along the way, and I anticipated that there would be momentary setbacks. Therefore, my role was to be available to provide encouragement and support. So that's what it looked like for my stepdaughters having that family privilege with me. They had it with their biological mom and with their dad. Now, the challenges faced by a young person who ages out of foster care, that looks different. We often have developmental gaps or delays. At the very point in time when we're trying to have those very important milestones in early childhood development, we're also trying to survive. During our time in foster care, we experience a lot less freedom and normalcy. When we do get responsibility, it comes all at once. There's a magic birthday, and you're no longer a foster youth. You're just kind of like a legal orphan. You're out there in the world, and you go from not being allowed to have a bank account to being expected to understand how to spend money. There's very inconsistent guidance. As one young person said, nobody has to care about you anymore once you're 18. That's a really harsh reality for former foster youth. There are magnified consequences. It is all too easy to end up homeless after foster care, and you're unsure exactly where to turn to for support. So these two diagrams look very different. We probably don't have a basement to live in. But the beauty of FAN is that there are opportunities for higher education institutions, both community colleges and universities, to provide post-secondary support. There are methods to work with child welfare partners to recruit foster youth. There are ways to identify current students with foster care backgrounds, and there are opportunities to provide ongoing support to help those students succeed, resources, mentoring, peer support groups. And there's a way that you can be an ambassador for foster youth on campus. You can educate other campus staff about issues facing foster youth on campus, particularly during college breaks. The wonderful individual here is Dr. Mickey Sharma, who worked with us when we did College for the Day events at The Ohio State University. And these are just some of the many departments that can play a part in campus collaboration, such as the registrar office, financial aid, housing, academic advising, learning center or libraries, and counseling center. Our statistics might seem poor on paper, but those statistics, again, don't come from a vacuum and can be vastly improved. We ourselves can be supported in developing a sense of autonomy, in increasing our social competence, in learning different problem-solving abilities, in really tapping into our sense of purpose, and recognizing the youth's achievement motivation. A lot of those youth who were never connected with college prep courses or opportunities, They want to go to college. So don't underestimate the achievement motivation of current and former foster youth, please. And again, there are support structures that can be created on campus, including at The Ohio State University, to provide academic support, assistance securing stable housing, assistance with food, financial aid, and other emergency needs, and personal counseling and guidance. As I wrap up my part of the presentation, I just wanted to thank The Ohio State University for moving forward at this time to support the Fostering Achievement Network, FAN. With support, our outcomes as former foster youth can indeed be improved. Thank you.